as a new form of the virus is now rapidly spreading across Africa.
I had a bit of a incident last night. So I'm worried about this, right? I'm worried, right? I'm a bit of a worrier anyway. And I'm a hypochondriac. I went to the doctor's once. I had an upset stomach. And she said, well, what's the matter? I said, oh, upset stomach. She went, right, so have you changed any of your habits? I said, so yeah, I've started having sort of, you know, smoothies with fibre in. She went, it'll be that then, won't it? I went, right, good. So yeah, went to the doctor. I said, is it bowel cancer? She said no. I went, right. And then she said, when you get a sore throat, do you think that's throat cancer? Right? I think she thought I'd laugh. I went, yes. And she went, okay, okay, you can leave now. That's what I want a doctor. I want a doctor to make me feel because I went along. Do you know what I mean? I want to go along. I don't want them. I don't ever want a doctor to say to me, "Well, you were right to come in because." Whew. So, anyway, so last night I went to bed. I went to say, "Oh, don't feel very well." Right? She went, "What's the matter?" I said, "Oh, no, I just feel ill, sort of upset stomach." And I went, "It's coronavirus." She went, right. I said, so I feel hot. So she went and got a thermometer. She got out of bed, right? Got a thermometer, tested me. She went, well, no, if anything, it's low, if anything. It's like, I went, right. I said, I just feel a bit hot. I said, I've got a blocked up nose. She went, well, that's not coronavirus. I went, right, all right, doctor, right? And I went, oh, I feel sort of out of breath. I was really nervous. You're winding yourself up, right? And I went, I sort of sore throat. So we've always got a sore throat because you don't drink enough liquid and you're always dehydrated. And I went all right anyway. I don't feel so. I took a nighttime Beecham's, right, and went to sleep. That must have mixed with the alcohol because I woke up screaming from a nightmare at about 3 o'clock, scared Jane because I thought an earplug was a spider. And so I woke up this morning. She went, "How do you feel?" I went, yeah, fine. My life often is, I have those incidents now and again, and I always remember a line in Christmas Carol when they go, and Tiny Tim, who did not, and I say that, when I get up, I go, who did not? Oh dear. So business as usual, really. I'm not a brave man. I always think the worst. So then, when it's not the worst, I'm happy. I think, what a lovely day. I didn't. Oh.
The World Health Organization tonight is declaring Mpox, formerly known as a global public health.
Jane laughed at me because I found just a sports one, not a legal one, a sports one. But you know, if people come for the toilet rolls, they don't know it's got a little blunt thing on the end. I think when I woke up screaming, I think I shouted, "Ah, spider!" This is like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Are there any psychiatrists watching? I've never been to a psychiatrist or a therapist. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just film it. Maybe I'd say, I'd worry that I'd say things for a laugh that I couldn't take back. Like I'd say something to wind them up, and then they'd call the authorities and go, "You're a proper psychopath. You You've got to put him away before he hurts people. Because I can't resist it. I can't resist. If I knew what would worry a psychiatrist, I'd say it for a laugh. Oh dear. Anyway, cheers. Make the most of it. Keep your pecker up. Well, careless talk. What is it? Cost lives. Walls have ears. Look, careful, careful. There's a Nazi. Turn that light out. Dig for victory. Don't be bothered. See you later.
You wanted to divide them, you wanted to separate us. So we look divided.
We often see people pulled up online for an old tweet that contradicts their current position. And rather than celebrate that that person has learned something and has changed their opinion, it is used as a massive pile-on to cancel them. Exactly. How do you feel about that? And is there anything your 20-year-old self would have tweeted that you wouldn't agree with now? I'm sure. I can't think of anything. Although I'd probably be embarrassed by my 20-year-old self trying to be so right on, because that's what most 20-year-olds are. They're trying to be. So I'd probably cringe at getting it slightly wrong, if anything. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Don't forget that sort of is purely people saying, "Look how good I must be." If I'm bringing someone down, if I'm cancelling someone because the tiniest thing they did 10 years ago, think how perfect I must be. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to get one-upmanship to make themselves look better. So, yeah, it's to be ignored. And you're exactly right. If there's no value in changing and saying sorry, don't bother then. It's ludicrous. You're exactly right. People, if you find something that people was 10 years ago and now they're not, you're right. That should be applauded because they've changed for the better. But it's just people on each other to make themselves look better. Best thing is just ignore it. Just ignore it. That's what these people, they want attention. They don't care what it is. It's like these people who go on any march to windows. They don't care about the cause. It's that 5% that brings all good ideas are eventually infiltrated and ruined by a minority. The trolls of the political world.
What a feeling. Most man in Britain. All your lives didn't work. And the best thing is, we're unifying the people. Exactly what you wanted to stop. You wanted to divide them, you wanted to separate us. So we look divided. Come on.
Back up, mate, back up!
Come on.
But most people are all right. If you looked at Twitter, if an alien looked at Twitter, they'd go, "We're not going there. It's mental," right? But if any aliens are watching, it's not like that. Don't think the real world is like the maniacs, the 5% crazies each other over the minutiae of nothing. It's not like that. Most people are nice, normal people getting on with their lives, okay? If you're a big fat slug, I'm Zorgon, I go, come on lads, come down, we're all right. We might eat you. We eat everything, so we might eat you. But apart from that, we're all right.
Take some questions from The media, I've got a list here. Harry from the BBC first, please.
Prime Minister. Harry. Thank you, Prime Minister. Harry Farley from BBC News. The speed of the decline in your popularity is historically unprecedented. Isn't this speech today an admission that you have failed and Nigel Farage understands voters better than you?
Keir Starmer's premiership is now at 13% approval rating, the lowest approval rating of any Prime Minister in recorded history.
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who's a friend as well as a...
You wouldn't call Jeremy Corbyn a friend?
No.
We have to make the case for freedom of movement.
We don't want open borders. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicine.
Cutting off power, cutting off water.
Well, I think that Israel does have that.
Wounded by the media, the Sun in this city, are hurt for this city. And I certainly won't be giving any interviews to the Sun during the course of this campaign.
Can you guarantee that under your leadership, the 2019 Labour commitments to nationalise water, energy, rail, the Royal Mail, they'll all be in Labour's next election manifesto?
I've made that commitment.
Did you write an article for some newspaper the other day? Surely that's not going to gain you any support across the North West.
Would you write for them again, Sir Keir?
I would.
Will you nationalise the big six energy companies, yes or no?
No.
No, you will not.
The Home Secretary was the wrong decision, and I think it was a rushed decision.
2019, you said stripping her of her British citizenship was the wrong decision. She's lost her appeal to regain it. Should she be allowed to appeal again? Should she be allowed back here in order to face justice in the UK?
I think the court decision yesterday is the right decision.
I'm really pleased to be here this morning supporting the staff at McDonald's who are on strike.
The Labour Party in opposition needs to be the Labour Party in power, and a government doesn't go on picket lines. A government tries to resolve... Air quality, climate change is the issue of our time, and as the Extinction Rebellion protest showed us this week, the next generation are not going to forgive us if we don't take action. I think they're wrong. I think their action is wrong.
We've taken that to mean nonsense as well. What a load of bollocks. It's a real English word. What a load of bollocks. Like pointless... someone's talking shit or your team played awfully. What a load of bollocks that was. It's a derogatory term. It's just rubbish, nonsense, awful load of bollocks. But it does come from the slang word for testicles. So you do the math. I could just be shouting into the void. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. It's just as good for me. Or you haven't. I've got an app system. Right.
He just betrayed Britain's fishermen. He sold them out to the European Union. He's concluded a Swiss-style agreement with the European Union, which effectively, by one man, by the fiat of one Prime Minister, has reversed the decision of 17.4 million people in the Brexit referendum in 2016. It is an extraordinary thing that that wasn't raised meaningfully in today's Parliament either. Nigel Farage wasn't even there. He's out of the country on a pre-planned holiday when Keir Starmer took Britain back into the European Union. And he wants us to rejoice that in certain European countries we'll now be allowed to go through the e-gates. I don't know about you. I found it a small price to pay for Britain's independence. If only we'd used it. If only we'd used that independence to have a different economic policy, to have a different policy on all manner of things, including foreign affairs, if you'll forgive the pun. But we never used it. And that's down largely to the British Conservative Party. But if Keir Starmer, who has now given free movement of labour to all European Union citizens aged between 19 and 32 and their families. So we're back to the Polish baristas, we're back to the Slovak carpenters, we are back to our young people competing for jobs with a flood of young Eastern European, Central European labour. Now, you may want that. I don't myself. I want British carpenters and British baristas. But you may want that, in which case that should have been in the manifesto that Keir Starmer stood for election on. If we're going to reverse Brexit, there will have to be another referendum before we can rejoin the European Union, which we have now in a peculiar and creeping semi-detached way now begun to do. So Keir Starmer has betrayed our fishermen, like he betrayed our old age pensioners, like he betrayed the 1950s women, the so-called WASPy women, like he betrayed Britain's farmers, like he betrayed all those who thought that the Keir Starmer who wanted to ban Israel from FIFA in 2014, and I was in the hall when he stood in front of a banner, kick Israel out of FIFA, and he gave a stirring speech about the atrocities being committed by Israel in Gaza right then and there in 2014. Few of us knew that the day would come when he would declare himself, without qualification, a supporter of Israel, without qualification, a supporter of the nationalist ideology of Zionism, before he would say that Israel had a right to cut off food, water, medicine and electricity from 2.2 million people in the Gaza Strip. Of course, in the last couple of days, there's a coordinated effort in Paris, in Canada, in London, to distance themselves, to wash their hands of the genocide, of the Holocaust, which is currently, this minute, taking place in Gaza. But it's all a show.
I've always got like 3 full-time jobs. I'm doing a world tour. I'm making a new show for Netflix, which is taking a year, because it's an animation. Fucking hell, it takes so long. And I'm trying to make Dutch Barn a global brand. I thought that would be, oh, dabble with that. No. Work all the fucking time. I'm getting emails from all, I've got like 3, I'm in 3 bosses. Except I'm in charge, so it's like, it's even worse. I bet it's like having triplets. They're all doing shit at the same time. So yeah, I am working all the time, but I try and keep my evenings free when I'm not gigging. In fact, that annoys me when oh my god, I love doing the warm-ups when I was doing like 4 o'clock gigs. Home for the evening. Oh, I do like to try and finish work sort of 6 o'clock. You still dabble, you're still making notes, you're still doing stuff, but you're in your pyjamas, you know what I mean? Having a drink, watching Netflix. But yeah, I don't think I've had a holiday for about 40 years. No, about 30 years. Oh.
I'll tell you what, I happen to know that Labour MPs care about one thing above all else, and that is to remain Labour MPs. If these Labour MPs are not reading this writing on the wall and are not preparing to knife Starmer in the back as they all, with Starmer, knifed Corbyn in the back, I'll be surprised. And I'll be more than surprised if Keir Starmer sees the end of the summer in 10 Downing Street.
David Bowie, obviously, of Ziggy Stardust, and the Spiders from Mars, actually. So, all inclusive. How are you? Seinfeld or Curb? Love them both. I mean, I think Curb is a bit more, it pushes it a little bit more, but Seinfeld, no slouch. Both great. It's not a competition. Right, questions. From straight away. Now, I'm not going to get to all of these. I've got hundreds. So I sort of find them and put them in on a little list, and I'll just go through them. So I won't get to all of them. So apologies. Eyes are stinging. Yes, I had a hot bath with bubbles. I didn't have a bath with bubbles. Me and Michael Jackson's chimp. I meant with right, Joey the cat. What's your favourite thing about Liverpool? It's difficult to say. I've only played it a couple of times. I'm playing it a third time, but I don't really see the city, particularly if I'm there for one night, which I often am. So, of what I've seen, the best thing about Liverpool was the audience. They were fantastic. Listen, all audiences are great. Yeah, there's certain places that seem to be one louder. Dublin. First time I played Dublin, definitely seemed louder. So, yeah, I think the crowd, and they're all about that, aren't they? They're all about entertainment and comedy, and also I think that it's a real place, sort of real people doing real jobs, and you know what I mean. So I think humour is sort of in their blood. So yeah, I'd say the audiences. I could be talking. I don't know. Some people go, no, the best thing about Liverpool is the pubs or something. I don't know. I haven't seen those. But I really like playing there. Keena, where do you get your inspiration when it comes to creating the female characters in your shows and movies? I mean, the answer's always real life. I mean, you can ask me any question about my influences, comedy, stand-up, films. It's always real life first, isn't it? And I particularly like realism, and I particularly like writing about ordinary people and real things. I don't really do fantastical stuff. I mean, I love it. I love sci-fi and things like that. But I sort of do. I do modern dramas about ordinary people mostly. It's all about the human condition. All my stuff is about things that are great about us and bad about us. I laugh at humanity, good bits and bad bits. So, and I was brought up with and by women really. I think I saw my mum 10 times more than my dad, if you know what I mean. He was out all day. And I had a sister who she taught me to read at 3. I mean, I think my nieces outweigh my nephews by about 5 or 10 to 1, and all my family were sort of carers. So like Derek, I got from them. Also, I like. I've always thought that often in films, rom-coms, Hollywood rom-coms, sitcoms, women are usually props for men. Men are the ones that get the best lines, or if the women get the best lines, it's because they're dim, or you know what I mean. So I've always been careful to show that women are three-dimensional, and particularly stuff like Derek and Afterlife. I like that women are sort of lionesses, that they're doing the work. They're doing as much work as men, and they don't get time off because they're sort of keeping the world together. But yeah, like Hannah, I made her nice and empathetic and caring, but she didn't mind people. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. My computer's died. There it is. We didn't tie it, it's just all the buttons are gone wrong. I think it's like breakfast. Crumbs. Crumbs in the computer. The key stick. That space bar I have to press really hard. So some of my, I'm writing, I'm not looking, my sentences are all one fucking word. So I have to go back, fucking press the space bar a bit more carefully. It's definitely a fucking crumb or something. Jessie Cat. Jessie Cat. Yeah. My question is, if you were a cat, which part of your body would you enjoy washing the most? For me, oh, you are a cat, I see. For me, it's definitely my front right paw. Well, yeah, but you have to do that, don't you? Because you're not just washing that, you're using that as a sort of flannel or a loop. Like there's bits that you wash, and then you wash your paw, but then you use your paw to do your ears, don't you? So, I think I'd say ears, because I think a cat looks cool when it does that. You know what I mean? You don't look so cool when you're trying to do your back, or you're going forward. Would I have my back or a cat's back? Because if I was a cat and I had my back, there's bits of me that would never get washed. Yeah, if I was a cat, I think behind the ears. I'd have the cleanest ears. Normal. Sharon Midnight Moon. Have you performed at an open air stadium before? I'm doing the Hollywood Bowl. If yes, how did you find the atmosphere? If you know, are you worried it will affect the atmosphere? Thank you. I'm worried about so much stuff. I haven't really. I have played open air things at stadiums and festivals before, but not as me as the only act. I've been, you know. So this is the first time that I've sold it out and it's just me. But yeah, I am worried. I was worried about everything. I was worried about it raining. My promoter said, it hasn't rained for 3 fucking years when we booked it in LA. I'm worried about, can they hear at the back if the wind changes? I'm worried about all these things. I'm worried about I can do a sound check, but it'd be light when I check all the lights and stuff, and then it'd be dark. So what if I get out there and I've got it wrong and it's dark, but the floodlights are in my face and I can't see? So yes, I do worry about everything. I'm trying to stop doing that because I try and have a plan B, C, and D. I can't. I think the world's out to, get me. And what I've got to do is think I'll do that. And if something goes wrong, I don't care. But you can't make yourself be what you're not. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I worry about everything. I worry about things that are just ridiculous. I worry about 1,000-to-1 shots. But I'm looking forward to it. I've just got to do it and enjoy it, and be about the event. So yeah. If Jolette, if you could bring back one of your former cat fur child cats, if you could bring back one of your former cats to be Pickle's friend, which would you choose and why? Oh God, they're all lovely. Okay, I've got a decision. I've got a reason. I think I'd have to bring back Colin because we didn't have him long enough. We rescued him, and I think he died about 4 or 5. Had a little brain hemorrhage, so he didn't live long enough for my liking. So I'd bring back Colin, the big, fat, dim, black and white thing. I'm saying it's she. It was a she. I think every cat we've had is a she with a boy's name. Wilf, Colin, Ollie, and is Ollie, can Ollie be a girl's name? Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. And Pickle, that's not really a gendered name at all, is it, Pickle? It's got male connotations. So yeah, Andy Hughes. What is your favourite venue you have played, either here or abroad? Can't wait to see you in Liverpool. Liverpool's getting a few mentions, isn't it? I love the warm-ups. I love the Leicester Square Theatre. It's only 400. I do all my warm-ups there, and that's great. That's just a really great venue that's all packed. I don't think you can beat a Victorian theatre of most sizes. They're all packed in. It's all soft furnishings like velvet. It's all, you know. I like it dark. I like it blackout. I can't see the audience. I have the lights on, and that seems the best. But I like playing the big places as well. And I probably play more of those abroad than here because I can only go for one night, if you know what I mean. So I try and venues. If it's just about the venue, I think the Olympia in Paris is pretty magical. I can't put my finger on it why. I think those rock and roll venues are great. Massey Hall in Toronto was amazing. So yeah, but I only go to places I love, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Victorian theatres are still the best. But the stadiums have got big enough, the arenas and whatever, they've got better now, the sound's better, they've got huge screens. They're better than they were. Meg, are the Foxes back? Any minute now, I reckon. I think we heard them mating a few weeks ago, and like last year they just appeared as like, I don't know, 4 weeks old, I don't know. So I think hopefully we're gonna see some tiny little cubs soon. I'll keep you posted. Sue, question request. You can choose. Please can you tell an old 70s joke, or play the guitar, or in a drain for whole time's sake. No, if you if you just tuned in and you've seen someone requesting me do in a drain, what must you be thinking? I can't play the guitar. It's there. I'll have to turn round. An old 70s joke. Oh God, an old 70s joke. Like a silly, childish one. The chicken who went to the library, and he went up to the counter, and the librarian went, "It's weird, chicken in the library," and the chicken went, "Bark, bark, 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 bark." So this is not like my stand-up, by the way. Right. The librarian went weird, but we wanted the book. Chicken gets the book and goes off. Comes back the next day, puts the book down, and he goes, "Bark, bark, 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 bark." I don't know, he wants another book. I go over another book, and he goes off. Next day he comes back, puts the book back, right, and goes, "Bark, bark, 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 bark." And the librarian, he goes off. The librarian goes, "I'm going to follow him, see what he's doing with these books." So the librarian sort of follows him. The chicken's going along with his book. He follows him down the road, across a field, through the woods, goes to a sort of pond, and there's a frog. And the chicken gives him the book, and the frog goes, "Read it." All right? Good. Right. Glenn, would you do a Vegas residency for a year? No way, instead of touring. Oh, I suppose, actually, that's quite a good idea, isn't it? So they all come to me, I don't move for a year. You can just pop down every night from your penthouse. Jane and Pickle go with you. Well, if I was there for a year, I wouldn't live in a hotel. I'd rent a house or something. A year's a long time, just doing it. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, I could maybe do it for a month. One day, maybe. I don't think you understand how lazy and tired I am. But I like the idea. This is how lazy I've got, right? This time, right, after COVID and after I've got the Supernature filmed and all that. I thought I've got to start again. I actually thought, what if I bought a theatre or built a theatre in Hampstead? I actually started looking if there's a building I could convert into a theatre and just play there every night. There wasn't. But anyway, it was a thought, wasn't it? Maybe one day. Ollie Afterlife. We all know you as a writer, director, comedian and animal advocate. But tell us about you as a painter, your style, your process, your thing. I'm not a painter. I'm just not. I'm embarrassed. I've done a few paintings. And, I mean, 1 in 10 I might like and put up, and I'll go over to find it, but it's pretty random. I've got no skill or. I mean, I've got a bit of a style. I've got the things I like. I like sort of nearly abstract, and I like Turnery type colours and dark, sort of ominous. But honestly, if it comes out right, it's luck. But I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's like chess. I like it when it goes well, and then I can. Oh, why did I do that? That's rubbish. What annoys me is I haven't got the skill to put on the canvas what's in my head. So it's sort of luck. But yeah, I enjoy it. Betsy the Rescue Beagle. Here's my question. I'm fascinated by the long railway line in your short film. I posted a little picture. I'm doing a short film. Well, I've done it. I'm editing it tomorrow. I would love to know what you're planning. Is it one of those silent movies where people travel up and down the railways, like one of those things? No, it's just a short film. It's 10 minutes. I won't spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. In fact, that's another thing I was thinking. Maybe we could just do short films because only one day. It's only one day filming. It's called 7 Minutes, so look out for it. But yeah, it's fun. Right. Question: Gonzo the cat. What does Weetabix and water taste like? Hashtag Afterlife. In Afterlife, my character he's got the end of the sort of Weetabix, whatever it is, all that stuff at the bottom. And he's got no milk, and he just puts water on it, and I drank it. For real, obviously. It doesn't taste of much, actually. It's horrible, though, because it's the texture, it's like cold. So it's like, it's sort of like a cross between sawdust and wet biscuit. You know when you've been dunking biscuits, and it's dropped off and you didn't know it, and then you drink the last bit of tea and the biscuit goes down. It's like that. Again, I don't know if everyone around the world dunks biscuits and then drops one without knowing and then drinks their tea with a biscuit in it. I'm sure I'm sure that must have happened to everyone. I used to get through a packet of biscuits by myself. When I was on the dole, I used to go to the shop and get a packet of like custard creams or hobnobs if I could afford them, and have a cup of tea. I'd get through a whole packet. I know what you're thinking, Rick, you're an athlete. How did you keep your figure? Don't know. Once, right, I think someone asked me that question, and I said, oh, I'd like to be thrown to the lions at London Zoo, and just have see loads of sort of tourists going, is that the bloke from the office? Just kid and then pulling his apart, right? Anyway, a journalist must have been listening, and so like a few weeks later, there was a story in the paper, and the headline was something like, London Zoo refuse Ricky Gervais' permission to be thrown to the lions. Like I was serious. So this journalist said, he must have known I wasn't serious, right? But he called up London Zoo and asked them if I'd be allowed to do that. And they said, no, of course not. So it made me look like a fucking maniac. Like, I seriously... Oh, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if that's what happened. It might be a good idea. I mean, the thing wrong with that is that lions shouldn't be in zoos. That's the main thing about that. Don't put fucking lions in zoos. But, yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck if I was... But I wasn't serious, was I? Fucking hell. You gotta watch what you say. I should really, shouldn't I? I should try that one day. I should try watching what I say. See how that works out. Right. The Mel Toffee and Fudge. If a member of the royal family wanted to come to one of your gigs, who would you like to come, Mr. Ricky? Well, they have actually. William and Harry came to one. I think Harry's been to more than one. I think he's been to 2 or 3. And I remember once he brought William along, and we had a drink after and everything. Yeah, one gig, it was William and Harry, at the back, right? William and Harry, with their 7 security, Madonna and Paul McCartney. Not one of them paid. Right. Yeah, we've got through this, haven't we? Leopold and Loveday. Look, we're on Lions and Tigers. Lion versus Tiger. Who wins? Oh, God. Like Derek. Who would win out of a lion and a tiger? What? Who would win out of hippo and a rhinopotamus? What? Who would win out of a mammoth and a tractor? If a mammoth was angry. What? Who would win? Who would win out of a whale and 3 sharks? Don't know. Who would win out of a lion and a tiger? Oh, I think tigers might be slightly bigger. And, I don't know. Lions, aren't male lions a bit lazier than, don't they let the females do the hunting, they just sit back? Maybe the male tiger's a bit fitter. He's a bit more, you know what I mean? The lion might be a bit ring rusty. Hasn't had a fight for a while. I mean, I don't know why they'd meet. Who's arranging this? Don King? Who's... There probably is somewhere where they do that, isn't there? They probably did it in the Roman times, didn't they? They used to have all sorts of things for each other. Neither of them would come off really well, would they? Neither of them would... It wouldn't be one punch and you're out. I think they'd probably both die of their injuries. But I suppose it gets the neck first, doesn't it? I'm taking this way too seriously. I'd go the tiger, if I'm right in that they're a bit bigger. But my advice is, don't f animals for a laugh. Well, that was an absolute load of bollocks, as promised. Old time's sake, innit? Me wiping my eyes after a bubble bath. Not a bath with bubbles. Good. Thanks to everyone who bought a ticket. Absolutely mental. As I've tweeted, I never take it for granted. To sell out arenas in your own country is one thing, but to sell them out around the world, that is really fucking mental. I can't believe the response. I can't believe that they sell out in minutes and people want another one. It's absolutely amazing. Incredible. I never take it for granted. I always wanna get the gig, the show so good. It's going really well. It's funny, isn't it? You play arenas around the world. You play to hundreds of thousands of people every year, right, around the world. It goes great. They love it. Everyone there loves it. They pay their money and they love it. And then some snotty fucker in a posh paper goes, bit lazy. This has just sat down. He's thought about it for about 20 minutes. 3 stars. Tatty bye, everyone. Tatty bye. Campbell. What was the reaction? What has the reaction been to the title of your current stand-up show? I'm going to get a ticket while they're still cheap. Mortality. I don't know. I suppose. I mean, all my titles are sort of. They're largely irrelevant. It's something to hang off. There's a slight theme, but you always end up talking about the same sort of stuff, don't you? Your life, what you've seen. I deal in the same subjects. I always have, because I'm interested in the big subjects, you know, life and death and morality and all that. So I don't think the reaction to the show's been great, but it always is. Every time I do a show, I tour for a year. Every night is fantastic, sold out, everyone loved it. It's not until it goes on Netflix and someone gets a clip and someone puts it up and says, this is disgusting. And everyone goes, yeah, it's awful. They weren't there. They weren't there. So I only do it for the people who bought a ticket, got up, went out. I do it for them and they have a great night. Now it goes on Netflix. I'm not really bothered, because people can then package outrage. They go to a show, they can't really go, there's nowhere to go. What do? Tweet, I didn't like it. Someone goes, oh, whatever. But when they get a little clip and go, look at this terrible bit, look at this awful, offensive bit, people can go, yeah. But the good thing about that sort of thing is it's come out the other side. No one really cares now. You know, with the last sort of few years, people have been able to stir up trouble, but you just ride the waves, or I did, and now I think no one even cares. Now someone tries to stir up trouble, people go, yeah, we know, we assumed, which is good. I think they sort of overplayed their hand a little bit. They cried wolf too many times. So I suppose that's the good thing that's come out of cancel culture. People just go, shut up. They still try though. Good luck to them.
For years, radio was a way of, I don't know, but you could privately engage with people, and they felt like you, at the best, they felt like you were a friend of theirs that they would listen to, you know, on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm. And then how did you sort of work the material of then your podcast with Ricky Gervais, the Ricky Gervais Show? Before, was it sort of pre-planned, or was it like a more organic?
Well, when it was initially, it was just Ricky and I on a radio station, and we would kind of have a quick chat beforehand, and then we would just make us win along. And then we got given this producer, Carl Pilkington, and we asked him a question. He was just there to press the buttons and make tea and things. I forget, we asked him a question, or he was telling a story or something, and he said something about blah, 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 and the neighbours, you know, and they were the neighbours that had a horse in the living room. Anyway, and we were like, what do you mean anyway? Let's go back to the neighbours with the horse in the living room. And for him, that wasn't the interesting part of the story. And we quickly realised that he was sort of gold dust, you know, and he just, almost anything that you asked him was just dynamite, because he just had this completely unique view of the world. You know, we were talking once about celebrities who are only famous because of who their father is. So, you know, Callum Best, whose father was footballer George Best, Bianca Gascoigne, you know, lots of, and we were saying they're only famous because of who their dad is. And Carl said, well, you could say the same thing about Jesus. And you're sort of like, yeah, that kind of makes sense in a way. And I remember we asked him once to explain evolution, and he said something like, evolution's easy, isn't it? It's you know, it's like slugs, monkeys, mermaids, man. You know, of course it is. And so he was just a never-ending, you know, supply of. It's like if you'd found a magic lamp, you know, and you could just rub it every week, and magic would come out really. And so then it really became a show about him, really. And off we went. And so there was never any planning there. I mean, it was just showing up and winding Carl up until he spoke.
Can you see the Carl Pilkington radio shows coming back at any time?
The thing is with that is, people ask me, and I do miss it, and I even now and again listen to some of the old ones. Did everyone hear that question? Is Carl Pilkington's our podcast coming back? I don't think it would work. I think Carl became my little public experiment. It was like a cross between.
Because it felt so unscripted.
It was unscripted.
And that was
totally
what
unscripted.
was.
That is real. It was unscripted. He was like my little experiment, like a cross between. I don't know. Have you seen the film Lawnmower Man? It was like, okay. A cracking reference to anyone who has. But I always thought that Carl was like, I'd found a 10,000-year-old caveman and shaved it, thawed it out, put clothes on it, and then tried to teach it sort of art and philosophy and science. And I think, because he had a good brain, I kept telling him, I said, you've got a good brain. You've got a good brain, you just don't use it, right? And, you know, he found things that interested him, which were spurious and often apocryphal or nonsense, just things on the internet, you know, baby born, half monkey, half... I was like, it's not true, Carl, it's not true. He'd go, look at him. I go, it's just a hairy kid. He's a hairy kid. He's 100% human, he's got a lot of hair. It says here he's half monkey. It doesn't matter what it says there, Carl, it's not half monkey. But I think he became sort of a little bit more worldly wise.
I suppose it's that chemistry that you guys captured in that show. It's hard to replicate that kind of chemistry.
You couldn't contrive it. I discovered him, he opened his little slack jaw once, and he said something, and I just, my ears went up like that, and I just thought, this guy's interesting. It's like I found him under a rock. So I don't think it would be the same. I don't think it would be the same. He's sort of retired now.
It doesn't matter how many times I re-listen to it. It's still golden.
I listen to it about, people send me tweets of like clips, and I've completely forgotten about them. But it's like the first time he heard about something that I might introduce a concept to him, and it's the first time, and I can hear his brain working. It's like a silence where, you know, he'd say things to me like childlike. He'd say things like, he said, what's the most amazing fact ever? I go, what do you mean? He said, tell me something that'll blow my mind. I said, well, the nature of infinity is pretty amazing. I said, okay, here's one. I said, there are as many even numbers as even and odd numbers put together. He went, no. I told him the theory that, you know, the model of infinity, the infinite amount of chimps working on typewriters would write it was Shakespeare. He wouldn't have that. He said, have they read Shakespeare? I went, that's nothing to do with it. I said, that's nothing to do with it, right? He'd go, I just don't think they do that. I go, no, no, take out cognitive reason. There's no choice. They've chosen monkeys to take out choice and reason. They're just hitting away like that, and he just couldn't get it. He couldn't get that it was a, yeah. So I think he's learned his lesson, and I think he's sort of content. I just don't think it would work now.
I wonder if we would have been censored more, because I feel like we're living in an age now that is a little bit more sensitive to things, and maybe we wouldn't get away with it. I don't know.
And kind of then in that vein, especially with An Idiot Abroad, the humour is known to be slightly more tongue-in-cheek, slightly more offensive.
Offensive?
Offensive, it's slightly.
Okay, no, fair enough. Again, I mean, I don't mean that disingenuously. I think because to me, Carl is like a sort of idiot man-child. It's like if a child says something offensive, it seems harder to take it seriously, if you know what I mean. And I think because of knowing Carl, that is sort of how I take it. But I can certainly see from the outside it looks like he's offensive.
Yeah, but do you think in perhaps like our slightly more politically correct world, it's harder for comedians to sort of do their job because they're having to constantly tread the line and evaluate whether they are being offensive, as opposed to just trying to be funny?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because Carl, for instance, just to take Carl as an example in that show, he's travelling the world and he's reacting authentically to the world around him, and he's ignorant. I mean, he is the Little Englander personified. He's a man, I'm not joking, who takes little bags of tea bags when he goes to, Mauritius or something for 2 weeks. He, like my parents might, he's someone who, he's someone who will go on holiday when he chooses to go on holiday and immediately look for a cafe that serves a full English breakfast, while in Spain. And I think, therefore, if you send him to far-flung places, he reacts, in an authentic way. That's not him trying to fish for the controversial thing to say. I think he is just reacting. And I think I don't think it's born from prejudice. I think a lot of it is born from ignorance or naivety, and I think sometimes that lands him into hot water, and other times it sort of is weirdly sweet. Like I remember him visiting the wall that divides, Israel from Palestine, and him just kind of just baffled by it. Like he was just like, it's so ugly, I don't understand. Like he doesn't understand the nuance of that debate. So to him, he's just like a child seeing this monstrosity and kind of not understanding it. And so, it's sweet in a way.
XFM is often seen as being sort of the beginning of the podcast era, and helping sort of pioneer this new sort of resurgence of radio, maybe in a new form of entertainment. Are you proud of that sort of cultural legacy? Did you have anything anywhere that size in mind when you started out?
Well, it's funny, as you walk around the union, you see those pictures of, pioneers in various fields like, Einstein and Malcolm X, and we got Carl Pilkington to, talk about eating, when he's in the jungle. So yes, a pioneer in every sense. But I didn't know what a podcast was, and Ricky suggested there's this new thing where you download it straight to your iPod at the time. Whatever. Okay, I no idea. And we started doing them, and then it was fun because you had none of the restrictions of radio. It's obviously with radio you're still restricted in what you can say within reason. With a podcast at the time, it was gloves off. You could say anything, and it just suddenly we were in the Guinness Book of Records for the number of downloads. I mean, that's because there was literally no one else doing it. So it's easy to win a world record when no one else was doing it. But now, as a keen podcast fan, I love it. I'm very proud that we were kind of ahead of the curve on that. And it's funny, I've done people's podcasts since, and they talked about ours as being kind of instructive and informative for them. And I've met people, I was in Vietnam, I met people listening to the podcast, and people all over the world, because there's a great democratization with that. You can just download it from anywhere in the world and listen, and that's, I think, one of the most exciting things about media now that since when I began, is that it's kind of wide open. It's like an international field. If you want to do a podcast.
Well, I was just going to say, the reason I asked that question, because you were talking about Carl Pilkington earlier, and I don't know if you would say that he's a clever man, but he was certainly incredibly funny.
He was incredibly funny, but it was his attitude that was funny. And if you took it by himself, there was still the relationship. He still needed a couple of pretentious media types thinking that they were winning, but they were losing, because he didn't care what we thought. So there was still a little bit of a dynamic going on. Not just... If Carl Pilkington went on the radio and said, all right, well, here's what I think, monkeys and that, people would go, why is this bloke telling? But because he was goaded by a couple of pseudo-intellectual media types thinking that they were embarrassing him, there became a texture to it, and people wanted him to win. People loved him winning. Winning would maybe making me laugh, or being proved right for something that, so there was still something going on. It wasn't just a man saying stupid things. So yeah.
I think in the first series he did not know what was coming, ever. And he was genuinely alarmed. And there's a lot on the cutting room floor of him just angry. You know, not entertaining for anybody, it's just him, no, it's fucking... I think by the second series, in order to persuade him to go, we didn't tell him the specifics, but we would give hints, just because he just refused to go otherwise. But normally the limits, if we were pushing him to the limits, that was not him play acting, that was him almost sort of trying to negotiate with the producers, you know, as to exactly... I mean, the bungee jumping, you know, I mean, we wanted him to do the full bungee jumping, he refused, and he does some tiny little... I mean, I forget, but doesn't he just jump off from like a foot? He jumps from there to there, and it's pathetic. And so now, and then of course ultimately he's doing his own stuff now because he doesn't want to share the money with us, or sensibly be tortured without him knowing it. Because that's the thing, you know, once you make someone a celebrity, they then have a lot of power, and they can turn around and go, no, why on earth would I eat a sheep's jungle? You know. But it's not him. It's not him sort of turning it on for the cameras, really. It's not manufactured in that way. Yeah. And I think when you are very tall and if you've got glasses or whatever, or I don't know, you when you're a teenager, you know, you have those insecurities, and I remember someone saying to me once, you know, in an interview, do you think that you use humor to control when people laugh at you? And that might be true, that might be just a fancy way of saying it, but I think there's some truth in that. And I think because I always sort of felt a little bit awkward in that way, it seemed natural to make fun of the way I looked or the height or whatever, sort of before anyone else did. And then as we moved into working with other people, you know, certainly when I met Ricky, he was short and fat, and in my mind old. In actual fact, he was younger than I am now, but there we are. And you know, Carl obviously does have a head like a fucking orange. So you use what you can have. Plus, also just sort of physicality is you know, the using your body, particularly if you're tall. You know, I think just it's fun.
Leave Carl Pilkington alone.
I love Carl Pilkington.
Yeah, but he must hate you. Does he hate you?
No, he loves me. We're best friends, but I'm just fascinated with him.
Does he have a family, Carl Pilkington?
What, sorry?
Does he have a family?
He has a girlfriend of, like, I think 18 years.
Mm-hmm. Children?
Who's no children, mm-hmm. No pets. No.
How is he treated in public at large?
He doesn't go in public, really. He puts a little woolly hat on.
Is he well respected among his peers?
I think so. I think people are confused by him.
By him.
Some people think he's a character that I write his lines for him. Some people think
do that thing about where the humans and chimpanzees
I've been trying to... He didn't really go to school much. He went to school a couple of times. But over the last 10 years, I've been trying to sort of inflame his imagination. And he's got a good brain. He just hasn't used it. You know what I mean? It's... no, but I was saying to him that chimpanzees are genetically identical to human beings, right? 98.6% genetically identical. And I said, think of that, Carl. 1.4% difference. And Carl said, that's got to be the arse. Isn't that great? So good.
Yeah, I think he's right.
He's right. I was talking to him once, and again, he's fascinated with science and nature, and I was saying, Carl, there's a programme on tonight on television, it's called The Truth About the Giant Squid. And he went, who's been lying about it up till now? He's amazing. He's fantastic. I was telling him once, we did a Christmas podcast about the Nativity, and I said, well, you know, allegedly 3 wise men came on the day of Jesus' birth, and they brought him presents of gold, frankincense and myrrh. And Carl said, well, them presents were his birthday or Christmas.
Wow. That's good. And now you're sending him around the world on a bicycle with the star of the Life's Too Short show.
Warwick Davis, who's a dwarf actor. And when I pitched the idea to Carl, we've just finished two series of An Idiot Abroad, where I sent him around the world. And then we're going to do a special. And I thought I'd step it up. And I said to Carl, I said, this time you're going around the world, but on a bicycle with Warwick Davis, the dwarf, in a basket. Right? And he didn't say, well, that's ridiculous. He said, so I'm doing all the peddling.
Let me ask you about Carl Pilkington. He is this great discovery that you made. There he is. He has a monkey on his back. You found this guy, and basically all you've done is ask him to be himself. He's a fascinating character.
Honestly, I feel like Anthony Hopkins in The Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Like I found this oddity, and I'm taking him around the world.
Where did you find him?
By the way, this is true. That's Carl's favourite film, The Elephant Man. He loves it. He said it's weird. I wish I could have met him, but he's dead. Right? There's a bit in it where Anthony Hopkins shows off John Merrick to a group of surgeons, and he's naked, and Anthony Hopkins is going, you see the deformation of the spine, the limbs, are the only things that are totally normal and untouched. And Carl went, think of that, the one thing you would want like an elephant, and he gets the head.
But it's funny, Carl's never trying to be funny.
No,
it just everything he says just happens to be
honestly,
genius.
he talks in one-liners that comedians would die for, and he doesn't mean them. He just, because he's childlike. There's never any malice. He's got no filter. There's no pretensions. I sent him around the world because I knew it would be out of his comfort zone. And
it's a show, Carl Pilkington Around the World. You're doing it again.
Yeah, it's called An Idiot Abroad. He didn't come up with the title. He didn't even know it was the title until he saw the billboards. It's great. It's like one big experiment. Like, you know, like you muck around and annoy mates?
Yes.
I do that on a global scale.
Yes.
Yeah. We're backed by millions. And I've just sent him around again. Idiot Abroad 3 is coming to Science Channel next year. And
you've teamed him up with someone this time, is that right?
Warwick Davis, who's the dwarf actor. Well, he's an actor. He's a dwarf.
Yeah. And
that's
you've
not his title, dwarf actor. He's an actor, and he happens to be a dwarf. I don't know why.
That's none of the business.
He doesn't put that on his. Well, it's because I told Carl once that when Dick Whittington he apparently walked to London and became mayor, and he took his cap, and Carl went, "Why would you take a cap?" He said, he must have walked twice as far because cats wander. And he said, also, why didn't he take a little mate? So I've given him a little mate.
And does he gets along with Warwick?
No, he doesn't get along.
They don't get along?
No, they're arguing all the time. It's honestly, it's the best series so far because they just bicker. And Warwick's so gregarious and normal, and I stitched it up so I always gave Warwick a better room and made sure Carl saw that. And Carl's like next to a toilet with like, it's just so funny. And I was editing the final episode, and Carl asked Warwick the funniest question I've ever heard anyone ask, and he's totally serious. He said to Warwick, he went, "Have you got knees?"
What does he think of this?
And Warwick just laughed. Warwick just went, he went, yes, I have, yes.
Have you watched Black Mirror?
Oh, no, I haven't, but it's...
Have you seen the thing?
The one about the body that we did on the podcast?
There's like a couple of them.
No, I haven't. I've heard it. Everyone tweeted me.
There's YouTube
I didn't see
stuff.
that one.
So
Shit.
there's Carl from Ricky's podcast, from the old podcast, predicted episodes of Black Mirror. Like they took, or the people who make Black Mirror heard this thing.
I think that's more likely because Carl had a thing that he wished that when you went to the doctor could put you in a thing, and the doctor could feel what you were feeling, so he'd know because it's hard to describe the pain. And that was it. And I was going, so hold on, how would this work? Right? He had other ideas like, he said, "I've invented something." I go, "What?" He said, "See-through skin." Well, you can't do it. You can't say I've invented something and then go, "Oh, I don't know the details yet," but just get on with it. Right. You know. So it's mental stuff he came up with. So it was perfect for this. But yeah, I didn't see it, but everyone said
I'm in the middle of that one now. Actually, the doctor who has the thing in his neck. It's really fascinating.
It's just funny because on the YouTube video, like they take from the podcast and the animated series, and they show like the setup for it, and then they show it in the episode, and then they show like you and Steven going like, "Why would it do this?" And then Carl explains this, and then they show it in the episode. Yeah,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I just had a medical, right? I have it every year, right? And I asked the doctor, right, why still the finger? And they've got now what is it called? Where they can tell if you've got prostate problems from a urine test. He went, but that only one side of it. You can tell if they started this early with it. So the finger's never going away. The finger is never going away.
Oh, you were saying why do you still? Oh, I thought you wanted an upgrade.
All this stuff. They was taking blood samples. And they were showing everything. But then he said, "No, I've got to stick my finger up."
Oh,
right?
you said why still the finger?
Why still the finger? Yeah, and it's just not going away. They always need someone to feel it first because it's early stages and that. So
yeah, and you fidget around in there.
That sounds like there's some doctors though that want to hold back some technology because they really. No, I think manually is the way to do this.
Well, I go there every year and it's always and this guy is a big guy as well, and I thought, well, he's going to have a fucking huge finger.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, and it's not the worst thing. The worst now as well because they seem to hurt more. I don't know if I'm more sensitive or because I'm thinking about it, they sort of shrink. So he has to dig in now and get my balls out of their
shrink up
like a little turtle going into their shell. You know what I mean?
Testicles.
Yeah, because I'm so nervous now about a fucking squeeze.
The skin kind of hornet's nest up against your
honestly,
body.
He has to dig them out now.
I've heard about like somebody's like going back in when they get nervous or cold or whatever. I've never heard of somebody's going back into their body.
It must be a nervous reaction. I don't know. Which is odd because my are longer and stretchier than they've ever been. But so they should be easy. I mean, he could probably do it from across the other side of the room. But no, they were shrunk. So.